I deep dived Cleopatra harder than Julius Caesar and Mark Antony ever did.
J-Lo's ex-husband?
Julius Caesar. And so her dad was called Ptolemy. She's about 3 brothers called Ptolemy as well. It gets very confusing in their house.
Ptolemy.
Absolutely. Julius Caesar is laying down
historical pipe. Her haircut looks like any girl in the Ulster Sports Club.
Caesar brought Vercingetorix.
Sounds like a top dance DJ. Tickets not available for Vercingetorix
on butcher playing fields. By this time, Mark Antony has started giving it rice over in Egypt, as it were, right?
To who?
To Cleopatra.
Cleopatra coming at you.
The way I looked at him?
No, the way he's doing that counting, he's really being weird with it today, and his finger seems like, as a guy with long fingers,
like a Voldemort finger.
Seems extra long.
Yeah. Like a Ghost of Christmas Future.
Yes.
Christmas yet to come. Anyway, right, so welcome to this episode of Mythstories with me, Kieran Bartlett, and him, Shane Todd. This is the podcast where we break down history, separate story from myth from story. We're myth behaving all over the place, right?
Mythindor?
Angela, I'll take it. Yeah, haven't got any other ones.
Merry Mythmas. It's alright.
It's alright.
Pet the head of the Nepalese soy boy.
Okay.
He didn't get a pat in the last episode.
No, he didn't.
There
was a couple of good ones as well in the last episode.
He feels left out.
How the nips suck clean off himself. Now, Nepalese soul boy. So today's episode, what did I say? Saul? Yeah. Today's episode is about Cleopatra, the 7th of Egypt. So, Cleopatra. Well, I think we'll have nice pictures here, don't we, Dan? So, because I made all the research I've done. Oh my God, I deep dived this bitch. I deep dived Cleopatra harder than Julius Caesar and Mark Antony ever did. So
J-Lo's ex-husband,
Julius Caesar, and we
but the only one who hasn't.
Oh my God!
But the only famous man in history who hasn't been with Johnny from the block, Johnny with a cock.
Oh, I love when LL Cool J goes, "Don't make decisions when you're mad."
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I know you're independent. You can make it on your own.
I love when he says it. He does exactly what you did. He rolls his eyes going, "I know you're independent. All right, I get out of that Escalade that I bought. Come on." Anyway, oh, fuck me. What a great song. Anyway, right. So, Cleopatra. So, we're going back to 1st century BC here. So this is a good time.
Can I tell? So sometimes I like it when what I'll do, which is a nice touch at the start of the episode. I go, "What do you know about this?" before we get into it.
Right.
I like to think that Cleopatra, HSW,
historical
sexy woman.
I would say HBB, historical bad bitch. Right.
Yeah. But that's what makes her sexy.
HBMB, historical bad money bitch.
But is it going to be one of those ones where I think she's really sexy and you look back on it like Tutankhamun, everyone's like, "Oh, boy's so fresh," and you see him done up in all these depictions, all these like, you know, statues and all, and you're like, Tutankhamun looked like a historically HSLG, historic sexy little guy, and then they actually recreate his face and he's HS, historical stinker. HWM,
historical wee mutt. Now there was
HEM, historical complete minger. But I don't want to find out that Cleopatra was actually stinking.
Oh, well, here, strap yourself in, because...
No.
So let's bring up the picture of Liz Taylor playing Cleopatra in the 20th century. Now...
That's vague.
What? That's what?
Was that what the film's called?
What? What'd you say it's what?
You said there's Liz Taylor playing Cleopatra in the 20th century.
Yeah, in the last century, she was in a movie called Antony and Cleopatra.
Yeah, but you don't
with
talk
her
about,
husband Richard Burton.
You don't talk about history that recent as being in the.
Well, we're in the 21st though.
Yeah, but you wouldn't say I was born in the 21st. I was born in the 20.
I was born in the 20th. Yeah, I would say.
But you wouldn't. You would say, someone goes, when were you born? The 20th century.
Yes.
You would say that.
Well, 1986.
Yeah, exactly, you fucking maniac. You say the year.
Right, okay. Well, listen, when was this, the 50s?
You say, but you can say that.
No, this must have been the 60s.
It's
early
so
60s.
Weird to go, oh,
this is like 61.
There's Liz
like
Taylor in the 20th century.
No, I'm saying this is a 20th century depiction of Cleopatra.
But of course it is. Of course it is. What do you think I'm looking at it thinking it is?
Right. Would you have known that was Elizabeth? Would you have known that was Elizabeth Taylor?
No, I'd have thought it was something from the 8th century.
Fuck off. But genuinely, and this isn't.
I knew it was Elizabeth Taylor.
Right. Okay.
Because I know
what year?
63.
63. Right.
I'm a big fan of David Guest.
Right. Fair enough. Well, I'm a big fan. I am a genuine fangirl of Richard Burton, who she was married to twice.
And what century was it?
I love Burton. Burton was from the mid 20th, mid 20th C. Right now, so they were married twice, but he played Mark Antony in this, and she played Cleopatra. Right. Anyway,
her haircut looks like any girl in the Ulster Sports Club.
Yeah, so I think I'm an authority on everything, but basically I work 2 shifts a week in a cafe. Now, I'm only working there until my business making socks takes off. So
massive world problem. Hold on, Instagram story share sorted.
And this is like a very soft, let's find a commonly accepted attractive woman to play her.
Okay.
Let's show that first century depiction, which is a slightly rougher bake. Now, granted, the statue's old as well, but this is a rougher bake.
Do you know what this is like? Before I look at this, do you know what this is like? When like one of your mates has a new girlfriend, and you're like, show us her, and he goes, now look, she doesn't photograph well, and this isn't a great. She looks.
He shows you the Liz Taylor picture.
Yes.
And then when she shows up, she's first century Cleopatra with a fucking lump on her eye, right?
I'll say this, if she took coke, it would take a week to get into your system.
So
that's a snout.
So Cleopatra,
she's all right.
Well, it is a bit of a snout, to be fair. Cleopatra, so Cleopatra was part of the Ptolemaic dynasty of Egyptian pharaohs, right? Now, they're descended from the Macedonian Alexander the Great, Macedonian king, and his general Ptolemy, who took over from Alexander, set up basically a Greek dynasty in Egypt in like 323 BC was the start of that, or whatever. Yes, Shane.
When people talk about Alexander the Great, it always sounds sarcastic.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, there he is, Alexander the Great.
Like, because if you knew a ball bag who was called Alexander, you'd probably go, here he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry, I just did your joke twice there, but it'd be like if you knew a guy who's called Alex, right? Ballix, that's what I would call him. But anyway, so Ptolemy started this the sort of dynasty,
like a franchise. He started in Egypt.
It's like a Greek franchise in Egypt, right?
He sets it up like opening Nando's.
Yeah, so like
he goes, this works.
Do you know what he's done? He's opened the wee McD's over there, and the one he owned in Greece and Macedon, they were doing burgers and all as well, but like olives and feta. And then he goes over to Egypt, and the next thing they're busting out a couple of wee lamb fucking, I don't know, koftas and whatever. Now,
lamb shish kebab.
Shish, right? So I didn't know enough about Egyptian cuisine like that there. Thanks for getting in. Flatbreads, presumably. Now, anyway, so so that was like 300 years basically before her that started. So she's this long line of this dynasty, right? A real solid dynasty. And so her dad was called Ptolemy. She's about 3 brothers called Ptolemy as well. It gets very confusing in their house.
Ptolemy.
Absolutely, right. So that's kind of her background. She spoke Koine Greek. So, but she's one of the only known rulers of Egypt to learn common Egyptian language. Now, this story is kind of about how she was part of the end of the Roman Republic.
So is she born in Egypt?
Yeah.
Right. So, but she spoke Greek. So you're
Yeah.
telling me she learnt
Egyptian as a second language.
Oh, Egyptian as a second
So
language.
the
Right,
type of Greek she spoke was this is like biblical Greek, basically.
Right.
So like the if you imagine like in a sort of timeline from say the classical period, like 600 through to the Hellenistic period, which is like 323, the Greeks are expanding their kind of civilization and at least taking in a bit of that and loving it. Egypt is more sort of forcibly brought under the influence of the Greeks, but the Greeks venerated the Egyptians because
What does that mean?
like they respected them and thought they were class because like it's a hugely long lasting civilization, and the Greeks wanted that. And then when the Greeks, I mean, I'm saying Greeks here. I'm really talking about Macedonians and the like Philip II, Alexander the Great, and Ptolemy, people like that. When they were expanding out into Egypt, they enjoyed the Egyptians and enjoyed their culture and like all the historical sites. Because you have to remember basically all the things that are in Egypt now were there then as well, but they were like ancient to ancient people. Do you know what I mean? The pyramids are like 3,000 years old. So 2,000 years
the
ago,
Roman Empire, they would have, the Roman, like Julius Caesar would have known the pyramids as like ancient.
Yeah. So like, so the Greeks did that, and then the Romans did that with Greece.
Right.
The Romans respected the Greeks because they had this history, and then so there's this period then between say like in that Hellenistic period, like the 300s BC through to like 1st century AD, massive veneration of Greek culture and assimilation of Greek culture in Roman society.
So they're the top boys. Everyone's looking at the Greeks.
Everyone thinks Greek culture is fucking class because it's art. It's
at the minute, if it was a person, it'd be Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like mainstream people are really.
I think even more. Do you know what it is?
Never seen any movies, but
it's Gosling and Margot Robbie or something for everybody.
Okay, yeah.
There's something for everybody, and it all looks good.
Yep, get you. Yep.
See out there.
Yep.
Right, Barbie. So,
no thanks, Sophie.
Then when Cleopatra comes along, so Cleopatra actually means what?
You said Barbie, and I said no thanks, Sophie.
Oh, that's good. Sorry, I totally talked over it. I didn't catch that. Sorry.
It's all good.
That's to be fair. I talk over a lot of things, and then when I watch these back, there's wee bits in there for me.
Yep.
Because I just talked over you. But anyway, I don't watch these back. I do. Anyway, Chloe does, and I listen. But anyway, and then I come in and go, wasn't it good? Anyway, so when Cleopatra comes along, her name is a good name. It means she loves her father, and then she took on this. Or sorry, it actually means that she's a goddess who loves her father. Cleopatra Philopator, basically. Like Philopator. She like a goddess who loves her father, right? Anyway.
Cleopatra coming at you?
Well, funny, I had that, Shane. You fucked me.
Sorry.
I was going to say not to be confused with these guys. Cleopatra.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you've ruined the end of my story, Shane.
There they are.
You fucked me.
There
Cleopatra coming at you. Yeah, hey. It was a good yeah, hey they had. Terrible careers though, but anyway, finished 3 years after it started essentially. But
what century would they have been knocking about?
Late 20th, early 21st. Certainly between 98 and 2001. AD.
Yeah.
Or CE as we say in the game. Now
that's such a great artist depiction of what they would have looked like.
Yeah. And you can see by the way they're sculpted that they're trying out for the human centipede, which was a great early 21st century moving picture show. Now so when Cleopatra came around, the context of her rule was that her father was a client king of the Roman state. So Rome has the Republic and it's expanding out through the Mediterranean, and the client king thing is basically they go and speak to the Egyptian king and go, here, we don't want to fight you. We'll let you still be king here and you can rule these people, but you suck the nip of the Romans. Like,
so what they're doing is they're in modern day times they're a big corporation.
Yeah,
and they're going up to this national business and they're going, listen, we like what you do. We don't want to just buy the company and put you be unemployed in the streets. This is our company, but listen, you run it. But he doesn't.
You be the wee manager.
Yes.
Well, stop being a CEO. Manage.
Yes.
Your middle management in our bigger game, right? So that was the Clan King. So that's what her dad was, and then around the
that'd
time,
be cushy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You'd be like got it at the start, but then you listen.
See if you were a good client king.
Yeah.
Of the Romans, you were having a time because anybody here, it's sort of mafia as well, where it's like anybody fucks with you ring daddy back in Rome and go here. Yeah. This cunt's out of my corner. I'm on round.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Daddy rolls around the fucking Royce.
Yeah.
Ready to
Heard you having some problems, eh?
He's gonna Uzi people for you. He's gonna leave horses' heads right now. So that's kind of the background of like the maid at that time and like her like she's coming up in that family, and when her dad died, Julius Caesar had sort of basically taken power in the Roman Republic, right? So this is like 50s, like sort of late 50s BC, coming into the 40s, early 40s BC, which is actually like the 49, 48 sort of time, all this. And he sort of came in and was like, I think it was in the 50s though, that he said to her and her wee brother, right? Her wee brother's a wee dick, by the way, Ptolemy, all right? There's literally like 3-4 Ptolemies in our house.
Mom.
He's a wee dick,
he's a
right?
brat.
And he literally is though, a wee brat. They're all really young at this point. Like, she's a wee bit older. So like she's like maybe like 20 odd here.
She's 18 when she ascends to the throne.
Right, like, yeah, so she's like 18, and this wee cunt's what, like 12?
I think 5 or 6 years younger.
He's a wee dick though, right? Now this is at a time, we're about to talk about a guy that we've talked about season 1, episode 1 of Mythstories, Pompey the Great.
Oh, here
Pompey
he is.
Magnus, get the fucking magnums out, get the dong out, right?
Yep.
Now he was he was having his sort of civil war with Caesar that raged throughout the Med, and he escaped Egypt, and it was Ptolemy, her wee brother, who's a boy pharaoh, who basically captures Pompey and fucking beheads him, thinking, I'll do this and Caesar will love it. Because basically what Caesar did was Caesar decreed that Cleopatra and her brother could rule together, knowing that Cleopatra would really be the one that was ruling, right? By the way, he's absolutely stuffing the bake of her with all the Julius, like he loves it. She loves it. Julius Caesar is laying down
historical pipe.
He's PHP, pouring historical pork, right? Like,
can I just say, I have big boy pharaoh energy. Don't I?
I definitely, even though I'm 37, I have way annoying teenage pharaoh energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, kill them.
Yeah.
You know?
Like when you asked me to pass me that can that your hand was already on.
I couldn't. I was only getting like a finger of it though.
Yeah.
This was happening.
So is Julius Caesar.
Hey! So he's absolutely
HLLL historical lads.
He's absolutely slamming her, right?
Right.
And here, that suits her. Suits her. Not if you're like a client, sort of ruler.
Yeah.
Not like her dad couldn't have turned around and said, "This Caesar here, jump in my wee Valley of the Kings, sir." Right? He couldn't have said that, and but Cleopatra can, and so it makes them really close, right?
You like to think so?
What?
You like to think so?
Right? And so Caesar, so he had decreed that. Then,
but by the way, is that all secretive, or is he just?
No, he did that publicly. He did that publicly. Oh, sorry, the bucking.
Yeah.
Well, good chain sources. We need to get into our sources.
Oh God.
Right. Suetonius. Now I have a
By the way, the way
quotes.
you have that jumper tied around your neck, it looks like a cape, and you look like an alternative Irish superhero.
Oh, I love it.
Library man.
Oh, fucking amazing. Unbelievable. Super reader. Here he is. So let me get this now. 30. Oh, this page has been changed on me.
I didn't change any of your pages.
Caesar returned. It says here, Caesar was basically victorious. So Pompey the Great gets to Egypt, right?
There's pages you've written on there that I can see.
I make, and I've dog-eared one of them down.
Good work.
No, I make notes.
Do you know what the good thing about not reading any books is? Don't need to worry about dog-earing books. Life hack. Don't read books.
So, that's...
What's crazy is you've got the book and you're getting nothing from it.
No, I'm getting everything. Listen. So, Pompey's come to Egypt, right?
Yes.
Ptolemy the 13th, as we cunt, he has him beheaded. Caesar, even though he's at war with Pompey, if you remember this, is like, who the fuck? That is a Roman general. That is a fucking and Pompey the Great, Caesar. They were enemies at that time.
Yeah.
But they had deep respect for each other.
Right.
So it would be like, I don't know.
Okay, it's like if you had like a big feud with your brother. At the end of the day, he's still your brother.
Yes, and somebody fucking slags your brother, even though you think he's a cunt. They don't get to say that, right?
Yep.
So sorry, Kev. And so Caesar goes buck mad about this, right? And then he gets into a war. Cleopatra sides with him, obviously, because of that deep pork action.
Peace.
Yeah, and
do we know if he had an HBP?
Historical big penis.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was necessarily big, but I do believe that he was a vigorous guy.
Right.
So he gets into this thing with Cleopatra, this sort of partnership, and Ptolemy, then the wee kid, has his guys besiege them in Alexandria, but Caesar
basically. What do you mean besiege them?
Like fucking hem them in, like, and not let them out, and besiege their troops.
Who are his wee guy? In my head, they're like wee TikTok guys.
No, it's a full army, like, but he's a wee cunt, right?
But they're all wee TikTok guys.
And then Caesar calls on other people to come and help them. Fucking some real historical BBs, right?
Yep.
And they come and help them out. And then once they beat Ptolemy, Caesar then gives Egypt to Cleopatra and has her other, even younger wee brother, who's also called Ptolemy, and goes, he's sort of ruling with you, but
why
does
he need to? Because he's a man?
Because as a Roman, he needs to be seen to be the guy. Caesar needs to be seen to be the guy.
And if he gave part of one person, that's too much power.
In Egyptian sort of custom, if there's a woman, if there's heirs that are male and female, they would rule together.
Right, get you.
So that's basically what's happened there. Now, I'm going to just check on my phone because I have lots of wee quotes, but I want you to get these all, Shane, because they're all good ones. Yeah. I did my research. Yeah. Our sources, this is Suetonius, by the way, so he's a guy writing in the end of the 1st century AD into the early 2nd century, and was like, he wrote biographies of the 12 Caesars from Julius Caesar on through to Domitian, right? So when Caesar, there's a whole bit here in the Caesar Suetonius. Yes, here we go. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. About Caesar basically putting it about to queens generally. Now I think that does mean female rulers and not
Elton John.
Yeah. And so they went on a grand tour together down the Nile in this fucking pleasure boat. That's meant to be fucking 90 meters long, all this shit, and they're parading around and everybody's fucking loving it.
Would you like to get a wee pleasure boat?
Oh, made a wee cruise up a Nile. Now I'd probably need some injections now. I know, yeah. Niall Fagan. And he would do some wonderfully artistic shots of our time on the river. And so then he brings Cleopatra into Rome and in the Roman society, introduces her around, and people are like,
and is she his main boo?
She's one of several boos, but it's like a big deal politically because he's turfing the fucking Egyptian pharaoh, right?
Is he not married?
He is married, but so some people in public will be seen to be going, this is fucking great and we love all this, but privately they're going, Caesar, your wee dick's gonna be worn off you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they won't like it. But then when they meet her, they're enamored by her, all this shit, right? Then Dio Cassius, who's a writer, I think, writing in Greek in like fucking second century, second and into the third century, AD. He talks about how Caesar's power, like, over Egypt, and then all the shit about, like, Caesar getting it to be Cleopatra runs it on her own, right?
Yep.
Now, Caesar gets fucking whacked at the height of his power here because he's becoming like a dictator in Rome, and Roman Republican culture don't want kings, they don't want rulers like that.
Yep.
So he gets fucking whacked. And then in the intervening period now, which is this sort of scary time where Octavian, right, who is Caesar's adopted son and sort of like his heir apparent, but because you're not meant to be a king, you can't really have an heir and all this
Yep.
sort of stuff. But he is also Octavian, by the way, and Augustus, or Caesar Augustus, they're the same person. Octavian's his actual name. Augustus becomes this title that he takes, right? So he vows to take vengeance on the people who killed Caesar.
I love when people do that.
So you know when Caesar, you've
Swear
heard of the
vengeance.
Ides of March and all that?
Yes.
Beware the Ides of March. So Caesar gets all stabbed up really bad in the Forum, and by like Brutus and Cassius and people like this. Brutus is the main guy. We'll do coins. Do you want to do coins now? So coins are part of the evidence here because there's different things. So this is a coin that Brutus issued. Julius Caesar was murdered in 44 BC, right, in March, and then in 43, Brutus, one of the guys that murdered him and sort of had the murder happen, releases this coin that's basically taunting.
Yeah, on the back
Caesar's
it says,
supporters.
I did it, LOL.
It basically does, though. I mean, because it has him on it, and it says,
Cool knife guy.
It says he did it because it has him on one side and his name.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, it has the knives, the Ides of March, and the ceremonial hat of the, I think the hat is of the, isn't the hat of the thing?
Isn't
Fucking the
hat of
priest,
thing?
the priest or something, the high priest. Anyway, it's something to do with a hat. Anyway, so it's a Carhartt hat, right? And and then see if you go on. So what I'm showing here is that's Brutus's coin, the taunt people.
Right.
This is the way it used to be. So when things were great, Caesar and Mark Antony, best mates. Mark Antony was his right hand man. He was
J-Lo's ex-husband, yes.
Sorry?
J-Lo's ex-husband,
yes. And loves big holes and taking over swathes of Europe, right? And so Mark Antony was this general who was in the army. He was with Caesar. He was with Caesar the whole way through it. He crossed the Rubicon with Caesar when Caesar like took his armies over the river that was like the boundary of Rome that you weren't allowed to take your army past. Mark Antony was with him. The dies cast, all that shit, right? That's a coin of those two together when things were... This is gravy. What I'm showing here is...
All right, Romeo done.
Coins are like becoming this
That's
sort
such
of like...
a niche but excellent reference from me.
Right.
That is
Romeo done.
pat the head of the Nepalese soy
Why, what's the
boy.
thing?
The old, you said it's all gravy.
Oh, it is a great...
Romeo
man.
Dunn and
That is a
Christina
great- that's a great
Milian.
song.
It's all, no, it's
It's all
all gravy,
gravy,
baby.
baby.
Back in my school days was the cool days. School was the good old days. Nah.
I like the way you do that. The way rappers do it when you're serving up lines. Serving up bars.
Look at his bars in 21 seconds. I got 21 seconds.
I like what I do.
Every
that
look
too.
I do, every look I say, every look I rock, every look I make, every look I break. There's always state when I get my gateway to the tunnel. 21 seconds in trouble. You better move in a double. Lot of my cash, lot of my dough. 21 seconds all bit to the flow. When I want to go, when I want to break, when I want to know, hype it up. Oh no, oh that wasn't even the Romeo Dunn bit.
Oh, here
Turn
was
up the
great.
bass
Here, the
line.
light. Oh, the light. That's never
Someone play by
happened to you.
10 plus 1. Romeo Dunn. And then he
great.
did It's All Gravy with Christina Milian.
A great song as well. So coins are a way of like legitimizing you as the guy, as
Yep.
the ruler.
Yep.
So this next coin here, when Caesar's killed,
Yeah.
they what do you call it? The when Caesar is killed, Octavian and Mark Antony and Lepidus form this triumvirate, like 3 guys. We're gonna fucking avenge Caesar. And I mean, this is a war in Europe, right? A civil war went on for a long time. And when they basically took power, they started like killing people who they thought were involved in it. They killed people who supported people that were involved in it, all this sort of shit, right? So if you move down there, Dan, please. I believe, yeah, that coin, sorry, just there. This is Mark Antony and Octavia. Octavia is his wife. She's Octavian's sister. So it's all very fucking incestuous, right? Yeah. Move on down there, please, Dan. So the next coin. This is a coin of the good times now as well. This is fucking... Oh, no, there's one coin. I think one coin's gone missing, but there's a coin... There's a coin of... somewhere, Dan. I don't know where it's gone. There's a coin of Octavian and Mark Antony together. I must have deleted it or something. But there's a coin of them two together showing that they're the fucking guys that are going to get it back, right? Now, after a while, Mark Antony and Octavian have a bit of a falling out, right?
God.
Boys will be boys, right? And by this time, Mark Antony has started giving it rice over in Egypt, as it were, right?
To who?
To Cleopatra. Bert Bocht offer. That's what that means in Egyptian, right? Now
we're getting back into the repeated history thing that we always have of people falling out over beautiful women.
Right?
Yeah.
Mate, like just fucking... I mean, it's like you and me whenever we competed for Chloe and I won. Now, She hated that. She hated it.
Hey, have you ever seen more of a cock move of a guy saying if a joke is okay with his wife?
I wasn't.
Is that okay?
Oh, she like that. We fucking having a ride tonight. No, anyway, right. So,
love, I'm just saying, is that okay? Right?
Cleopatra, right? So you're such a wee cunt, by the way. I've just been rid to death on this podcast. So, Mark Antony and Cleopatra are riding the bit out, and they're starting to have kids and all.
Yeah.
Like Cleopatra had a child with Caesar as well.
Right.
Caesarion, great name. Genuinely his real name. Right? And
they also have water birth. And we C-section.
So he starts fucking flat out having kids with her, and Octavian's like, mate, you're married to my sister, what are you doing? He goes, here, fuck your sister, I'm out. Right? Yeah. And that is what happened. And then the next thing, they're at war, right? They're at war.
Yeah. How many kids did Cleopatra have? We've really got away from Cleopatra in this episode.
No, but this is... I'm locating her in this context, right?
Well, she seems to be in bed from the sounds of it.
She is, right? She's very much turfing and getting turfed, right? And knocking out a few sprogs. I think she must have had
4 or 5. There's a few few Ptolemies in there.
Right, few Ptolemies, few fucking Caesars, right? She has a couple of kids. I think she has 3 to Mark Antony, right? And so... her sister, by the way, has been absolutely fucked over in different ways. But like, when Augustus is sort of fighting the war against them, Octavian's fighting the war against them, he fucks over her sister, has her paraded in a triumph and whatever, and just generally isn't very nice, right? Now, Octavian, they end up having this big battle, right? Now, this is... Come off the map up, please, Dan. This is an important battle. So they've been sort of at war. They've had a few battles. They end up having this massive naval battle, which means they were fighting
just
at sea.
For their bellies?
I was just fucking seeing who had the stinkiest belly bits. But
Lesbos,
huh? Lesbos. Oh, don't be a Phrygia, Shane. Hey! So... See up there, Dan, up in there. Right there, basically. Right there.
Can somebody remix a dance track of Kieran in the last 5 seconds? Right there, Dan, that's it. Yeah. Right there, Dan. Sorry, Chloe, is that okay? I'm flirting with Dan.
And,
is it, love? I love you.
You're such a wee dick. So, you're such a wee
Forever
dick.
And always, isn't it? Sorry, just one of my mates who get carried away.
Yeah, we were chicken sausage. Locker room. So
locker room talk.
So we it's locker room talk. So right there's the Battle of Actium. Now, at this battle, Octavian throws out about. Cleopatra and Mark Antony have about 450 ships. 450. 450. Didn't I right? Yeah. They have 450 ships. Octavian either destroys or captures all of them. 5,000 dead on their side, 2,500 dead on his side. Major battle. They have been beat to fuck.
Yeah.
This is September the 2nd, 31 BC. They retreat. Mark Antony and Cleopatra together. They have a very big public. Like, see the fact that they were making coins and all together. That's a big public relationship.
That's when you go official, when you're making coins together.
That's Facebook in a relationship with, right?
Definitely.
And they it's complicated with Cleopatra the 7th of Egypt. Now they they retreat back.
Oh, mate, you deserve a check. After all you've been through.
He has kids with somebody else, but that's like his sister, so don't even judge him. And it's blended. So anyway, they retreat back to Egypt. Octavian goes after them, right? He basically has them surrounded.
Yeah.
And he says to them, here, I don't really want to do terms with you. Or if we're doing terms, they're my terms.
Yeah.
And Mark Antony goes, I don't really want to do terms, but I'll consider terms. Cleopatra goes, fuck your terms, right? Cleopatra.
This sounds like you agreeing to appear at a corporate gig.
Cleopatra takes herself, her best mates, or priests and whatever, and all of her shit, all of her riches and stuff, into a pre-made tomb, and she's about to fucking set herself on fire, right? When somebody goes, you probably don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe here, give it a week.
Yeah.
Give it a week. Give it a week. Now, this is all within like 11 months, by the way. So, like, this is like, we're now.
So, are they almost like hostages?
Yeah, sort of. Like, this is like they've basically surrendered, and this is a what are we going to do sort of a thing. How are we going to handle this? We used to be mates. Please don't behead me in public, right? Do you remember we used to be mates? Don't chop my dick off, right? And then
please don't behead me.
So it was like,
please, mate,
please, right?
And
so it was like this real thing though, where they were shitting themselves, and Octavian's sort of quite young. They call him a teenage butcher. He's like a fucking warlord, but he's still only like fucking 18 or 19. He's a wee cunt, right? But anyway. Really fucking good, like politically, right, and militarily. But then
is he like Garnacho, the player from Man United?
He's Garnacho. Yeah. He'll do that overhead, and you'll love him. But then he will behead you in public, right? So Cleopatra's in this room being like, "I'm gonna burn myself," and everyone's like, "That's dramatic."
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then Mark Antony's in another pit going, "What's happening with Cleopatra?" And somebody goes,
"Like him and her not talking."
They are, but they're separated. There's no texts, right? No smoke signals, right? It's literally like, fuck. And this is like August now. This is August 30 BC. So a year, like 11 months after the battle that they've lost. And she's basically like, I'm going to burn myself. Somebody goes to Mark Antony and goes, you'll never guess what Cleopatra's just done. And he goes, go on then. And they go, she stuck herself in a tomb, all her stuff, and fucking burnt herself, right?
So they said she's already done it?
She's done it. Mark Antony, HFTB, historical freaks the bap, right? Freaks out and fucking kills himself, right?
Mate.
The classic Roman...
This is Romeo and Juliet.
It is Romeo and Juliet. Mate, Shakespeare has ripped this off, right?
Yeah?
Yeah, because it is
that
Romeo
an
and
accepted
Juliet.
thing, by the way? Is that real?
It's the first thing I thought of when I've heard a story was Romeo and Juliet.
By the way...
I can't even speak.
By the way, imagine being that messenger, going back to tell people and going, guys,
I know.
I'll
imagine
flag...
coming in and going, here, everybody, wait, and everybody looks around. Mark Antony's lying dead on the ground. You go, there's fucking two wee girls fighting out there. Because what else are you gonna fucking say? So like, so this.
Did you tell him she'd already killed herself? I don't think.
You'll never guess who's here to see you. Fuck off. It's your uncle Jimmy. He heard you slashed their wrists. So he's fucking caught himself and he's dying.
Oh,
fuck's
sake.
As he's dying, then Cleopatra hears what he's done.
Yep.
Apparently, comes this in some records. So in Plutarch, right, she gets to see him, and they have like a
moment,
a fucking speechy. This is in Selected Lives. This is in the Roman Lives. This is in Antonius, Marcus Antonius, and it's in, I think, chapters like 80.
Doesn't matter.
Some 80, 85 and 6.
Aye.
4 maybe 4 and 5.
84 and 5, right? And it's important to know that. And
Dan doesn't know.
They have their moment. And he dies, and Octavian goes, that is rare. Because even though I wanted to basically cane you both purple in public, I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Yep. And he says to Cleopatra, do you know what? Mourn him, embalm him, bury him, do what you want to do, and then we'll talk. And she's like, right, see when we talk, will you please not be a cunt to me though, because I know you're down to be, and you've sort of every right to be.
Yeah, my heart's broke.
But also, my wee heart, right?
Yeah.
And Octavian goes, you've nothing to fear, it's all good, which is only making her go, I've everything to fear. Right now, this is interesting. I fucking deep dived this last night. I mean, I do you know what? I deep dived this next wee bit, because this was melting me. I was thinking in my head, there's a lot of like, I love you, I'm going to kill myself stuff in this story. And I was going, what would be going through your mind? What's going through her mind, right? So, see if you bring up the document, Dan, and go to the bit where there's like a picture of like Latin writing. I was reading, if you read about Cleopatra, it says everywhere that the historian Titus Livius had written that she was pacing around saying the phrase, I will not be led in a triumph, over and over again for days after burying Mark Antony, or after the...
Is that like what they did with Cersei in Game of Thrones? Like publicly shamed and
it's like a humiliation thing, yeah. So right. I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but like, yeah, well, see, to be fair, at the Roman level, a triumph at this time is absolutely mental. It's do you know what it is?
It's the 12th.
It's the 12th, and like the Easter parade, and like fucking
pride,
pride, and an old fashioned, oh my god, the buses is off riot, right? Like all rolled into one. It's every cunt in Rome. You have a day off. They parade you along like a holy road, like a holy route through the place, right? Everyone sees this. This is like a visceral experience. You have to remember as well, media-wise, this is your chance to actually see who Octavian is. You'll see him go past you. You know, This is standing in Lavery's. Kevin Hart walks past you, and you go, what? Right? Yeah. So this is like...
I got to actually meet him.
I know. I only got asked to come down and do support, and then didn't do it. But anyway, it was good. No, here, it was a great night. But so I'm totally over it as well. And so they bring you, what part of the triumph was, you would bring the spoils of war, all the stuff you'd taken from the other country that you just defeated. You had to kill a certain number of enemies to get a triumph. You had to kill, I think, at least 5,000 of them. Might have been 10,000. I think 5. Anyway, right. You had to inflict a certain number of losses and knock over a certain number. All these rules about triumphs, right? Brilliant book by Mary Beard called The Roman Triumph. Sincerely a brilliant book right now. All this stuff about like different rules. But then when you got it, it was Octavian's way of basically you're being elevated. Somebody's behind your ear in the chariot whispering to you that you're just a man. You're not a god. You're just a man. You're not a god. It's a mad, visceral experience. And part of it then was artwork depicting the battle, and then enemies that the vanquished.
Yep.
And mate, they would do mad shit to them. So like when Caesar did a triumph over his
everyone
conquering
would
of
have filmed
Gaul,
it as well.
well, pretty much like, because they will remember it. They'll put stuff like this on coins and all. They'll bring out the highest person.
The gunge?
It's sort of like, did you remember the show that Dave Benson Phillips used to do?
Yes,
what was that called? Not
It's a knock.
There was one he did. Was it called? It wasn't called Getting Even with Dad.
Oh,
Was it called that? Getting Even with Dad?
Ah, what a show!
Oh, not Getting Even with Dad. Get your own back. That's what it was. Bring a teacher on that fucked you over. That's Judge Reinhold movie. That's right. Bring. What's that? What did you say?
No.
If I had to watch this back to get that.
No.
All right. So basically, like, the thing about this triumph is Cleopatra's really scared because Caesar brought Vercingetorix, who was the chief.
Sounds like a top dance DJ.
Was the chief of
Vercingetorix?
Yeah.
Vercingetorix a chain?
So he
Tickets not available for Vercingetorix.
on butcher playing fields. So on Kiva Quinn. So they sorry Kiva. They brought Vercingetorix, who was like the fucking king of the Gauls, basically. He did a set, and then they fucking torture him, they spit on you, they do all sorts, and they'll parade you naked through the streets, and then somebody will just come out and mercilessly strangle you in front of the crowd.
That's how,
like, it's
not behead.
No, they'll strangle you. They'll fuck your body up hard after it, right? Now, all like mad shit and stuff like that's been happening. She's basically going, that's not my life, right?
Yeah, she's like, and don't put me down for that.
They've already done this to one of her sisters, right? Who sided against Caesar before or whatever. Sided against somebody, her, I think. Her and Caesar, they've already fucked her over. She's going, I'm not having that happen to me.
Yeah.
Like, they paraded her sister in a triumph and then exiled her and then had her murdered where she was exiled. Woeful. Although some people think she had her murdered. Anyway, right. So she's sitting there.
Sometimes you're in a running argument with yourself and there's like four of you. You're like, oh, someone had her murdered. It was her. It was him. And it could have been this guy.
We're all great guys. Like, every one of us. So what I actually deep dived was the fact, because this was annoying me. They said that Livy had said, I will not be led in a triumph, which is a very powerful mantra and specific thing that gives you a window into Cleopatra, right? And I was going, Livy, the book of Livy, 133, book 133 of his massive history of Rome called Ab Urbe Condita, which means from the beginning of the city. It doesn't exist. We only have what's called an epitome or a patriarchae. The patriarchae are the epitomes of Livy's books. So it's like a synopsis. You've only got synopses of them left because of the fire at Alexandria. So the books were all kept there. They were fucking burnt. And the only thing that was left was some other historian had made a list going, book 133 deals with this, book 134 deals with it. So there was no quote in that there. And I was going, what the fuck? And then I deep dive this hard to find out that a much later Roman grammarian who was writing on odes written by Horace, so basically a Roman poetry lecturer called Pomponius Porphyrion, also known as Porphyrio,
also known as Dave.
Also known as the Big Pump, right? He had written in his Scholia, which is like his commentary on Horace's odes, he quotes Livy, and that's where this quote comes from, so it does exist. So she said it in Greek, but there it is in Latin and in the Greek there. I can't see all of that from here, but that's it for you, the Greek bit, and that's what it means. See that bit at the end? It est non triumphator, or fabor, is it?
Abalio.
Triumphabor. Abalio. That means I will not be led in a triumph. See, online people are talking about this quote and totally misunderstanding it. They're saying like, I mean, she doesn't want to be beaten in a fight, and I'm going, no, it means she doesn't want to be fucking publicly flogged
with her doot out
and doot and daddies out, and then they'll do something awful to her, like, because she's the leader who stood against Rome,
like a wedge.
They'll probably stitch her in a fucking bag with wild animals and throw her in the river, or they'll fucking behead her, or they'll do some mad shit to her body anyway.
Yeah.
And then because of the way they believed in like their afterlife and all, like your body gets fucked up, you're gonna be fucked up in the afterlife. So
you look stinking going.
And also, even if you didn't really believe in any of that, who the fuck wants that to happen themselves? So she was going, I'm not having this happen, not having this happen, and then she finally fucking succumbs. She knows she gets word basically that Octavian's like, we're coming for you in 3 days. We'll give you a wee lift back to Rome. Listen, not going to do anything. Transplant. We're not doing anything though. You'll be paraded. Nothing's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So she takes people, again, her best mates are priests, into a wee room. Now, this is a painting of this from the 1670s, 1674, something like that.
Yeah.
By, I can't remember which one this is. This isn't the Cagnacci one. This is the other one.
You sure this?
Is this the Cagnacci?
I thought so.
There's a couple of these paintings anyway. Look, Guido, somebody. There's Benedetto, somebody, and Guido, somebody else. Now there's Cagnacci and someone else. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is a painting of the famous. You've heard of this, have you? The how Cleopatra killed herself.
No.
This is Cagnacci. Right.
Okay. So the famous story of Cleopatra is that she was given a snake, and allowed the snake. Some people say to bite her ditty. We're doing an awful lot of nipple biting in here today.
Yep.
I had to say nothing of what I was about to say nothing of the content, right? So
Chloe, do you mind if I bite you in the nipple?
I promise I'll be thinking of you, love. She gets the story goes.
Cockleberry Finn.
That hurts me so bad because it's good. Do you know what I mean? If I'd have been shit, I'd have taken some solace in it. This is me being paraded in a triumph. Now, so she's meant to have gotten this asp, a poisonous snake, and let it loose on herself, and it bit her. Now, there's a lot of conjecture about this. Plutarch talks about how I want this document to be available to people, Dan, so they'll have all the timestamps of where to find it in Plutarch. It's not even timestamp. Do you know what it is? It's book, chapter, and verse, and I've done it all, Shane. I want my work to be seen. What is that about me? Anyway, right. So Plutarch says that she got the asp delivered to her in secret in a bowl of figs. That was given to her, yeah, and that the snake was hiding under the figs, and then that
requires the snake to be complicit in that,
doesn't it? Requires the snake to be like.
Yo.
I know. I know. Do you know what? I could eat these figs, but I'll wait for the ditty.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Figs or ditty?
I know, yeah. So he, I go he as if I'm talking about
the name of your new UTV game show.
Plutarch also says it could have been smuggled in a water jar. And then there's a weird one, isn't there?
Look, you could get a snake. No, I have no problem with a snake getting snuck in.
There's another thing about a snake. What's the other thing I've written there, Dan? There's the figs, the water jar, or poison from a snake in a hairpin that's hollowed out, because she's meant to have been found with 2 puncture marks on her arm that some people say is the snake bite, but modern scholars think that she's probably taken, because the wording of it is that she's used the spine to prick herself with poison. So it killed her and she died, and then but not before she was gonna burn all the stuff, which is such a he doesn't love me anymore, he's dead, I'm gonna fucking burn everything, right, thing to do. This way Octavian got all the stuff, right? Yes. They didn't burn any of her shit,
right? And
then basically after this, her kids get treated like shit. Octavian takes Egypt for himself, and then has this triple triumph in Rome for winning the Civil War, for taking Egypt, and for fucking defeating her specifically. Because over time, while Mark Antony and her were promoting themselves, there's this whole other counter campaign being like, she's a fucking dick,
right?
And so the Romans had really turned against her, grown to hate her. She's everything that a Roman matron, isn't. You know, a Roman mother doesn't behave the way she did. A Roman woman doesn't behave like her. So they didn't do anything to like her body or anything. But then when the triumph was celebrated the next year, they did parade a massive effigy of her sitting on a couch, all decadent and all, and they fucked with the effigy. Then I think they destroyed it in front of people to show that she'd been.
If I was trying to be alright with it,
I know you'd rather it was a doll of you than you.
Yeah.
And then in like popular culture, you know, is Romeo and Juliet sort of nodding a bit towards that, the star-crossed lovers thing, fate conspiring against them, the whole suicide weirdness shit. And then, obviously, like Liz Taylor's played her, there's loads of paintings of her just getting fucking bit in the ditty. Like, there's loads, like literally loads of those. It became like a real, look, there's Norman.
Yeah.
A real thing of the sort of Baroque period. Like,
That'd be similar to my nipple.
That is. I mean,
as close as you'll get.
That's a bullet wound nipple there. Like that's very small.
Can I ask about the main myth that I really want to know about?
Yeah.
Is she the one who apparently used to have a bath in milk?
Apparently that is true. Yeah, like warm milk. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know the benefits of it, like, but apparently that is something she did.
Apparently people just said good for your skin.
I wonder if it is. But have I missed anything here? I think, well,
what are the myths? But the myths around maybe her beauty.
Yeah.
What, that she was meant to be amazing looking and bewitched man and all this sort of shit?
Yeah, and in reality she wasn't ugly, but it was more her personality and her power that she had that
she was
attracted
very powerful. I mean, you have to think of Egypt as this, like, I mean, an important, I mean, they call it, what is it, they call it the breadbasket of Europe, you know, like, because it's huge space to grow crops. So, like, in the Mediterranean at that time, when you had a city, one problem you had was the amount of people that were living there and needed fed. So, like, you know, they're not running their own farms, like, they're living in a city, so you need to bring food in. So you have to do deals with people who are growing the food. So that's how, like, the Greek states did it, and that's how, like, Rome did that with Egypt. So taking over Egypt becomes like a massive thing. Like Augustus then made, one of the things he did was he made the provision of free bread to people in Rome like a thing that you had to do as ruler. And Egypt was a massive part of that. And then later on, when Vespasian took over, that had been getting fucked with for a long time, and lots of the food had been being given to different armies, and the public were starving, and Vespasian gave the bread and basically gave the bread back to the people. Everyone loved him for it, and it was like, then he made it that that he expanded that program basically, but also like when he was in Egypt when he was declared emperor, and he was very much there being like, well, I control the food, lads, so you can kind of do what I fucking say. So like
Alexandria was like potentially the best city in the world at the point.
They say that it was like absolutely stunning city, overly cultured. The big library was supposed to be like, you know, like the US Congress library or whatever. You know, a copy of everything.
Where do modern day Egyptians put Cleopatra in their like faith people?
Fuck, I don't know, to be fair.
I wonder what the hierarchy is of like her, Tutankhamun, Big Ramesses.
Ramses.
Mo Salah.
Ramses.
Coco.
Ramses is probably like, you know, people like that. They're like,
he was HDS
historical
top shagger.
Yeah, oh, here he loved it, and all the Ramesses.
One other myth potentially, right? The hidden in a carpet, smuggled in to see Julius Caesar.
Oh, fuck, I don't know if I read that one.
So basically, when her and the brother were fighting, and Julius Caesar came to mediate between the two of them, she got herself smuggled in to see him rolled in a carpet.
And
for a private audience.
And
then he hid himself in her carpet, you know what I'm saying? Well, fucking.
There was a rogue anyway.
We fucking Egyptian rogue, what? It's not really a thing, it's Persian rogues, isn't it? Fuck that, but anyway.
My dad's been to Egypt. Sorry,
you said that as if like he's been there
for that.
Checking out some rogues, like.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Rugsies.
He went to Egypt.
Yeah. Did you have a nice time? I sort of think that I would like to. I would love to see the pyramids and the Sphinx, but A, I don't know how well I do in the desert, and B,
you've got those shoes, mate. You'd be alright. You got those hiking shoes. You'd be fine.
And do you know what I think I would look like if I ever went to Egypt? You know the big unit in Ace Ventura 2 that goes around. You know? Sorry for the delay, Ace. Oh, you melt. Anyway, I'd be like a big Van Pelt.
But then the pyramids aren't like, you know, I think Instagram versus reality. The pyramids, I think.
Hold on, I can't wait to hear the end of this sentence. What?
I think in our heads we think the pyramids are these beautiful, like they're set in these beautiful, wonderful historic surroundings, and I think in reality, not really like that anymore.
No, I mean, I think it's on the desert on the edge of Cairo, but I'm going like,
Yeah.
you still want to see it. Like, I mean, I'll say this.
I can be fucked.
The pyramids at Giza,
I couldn't be fucked.
Take it or leave it.
Couldn't be fucked.
Fuck up.
Nah. No,
no
interest.
One of the absolute wonders of the world. Like, how did they build it? Like,
I'll tell you what.
I know how they built it, slaves, but like,
see if I had a layover, and you could get me to it without too much trouble, I'll go like I don't even know if I'll go in. I'll probably just go like this.
You can't get in. I think you just go around.
Oh really? And have less interest in going.
You wouldn't want to see the Sphinx or the pyramids.
Google images.
Fuck up. No. It's
like the Grand Canyon when you're in Vegas. Everyone's like,
no, hold on.
You got to do the Grand Canyon.
Have you been to the Grand Canyon?
No, and I never will. Been
right,
to Vegas,
hold on.
Because
Because the scale of it, no picture captures that. I'm being serious. The scale of the Grand Canyon and the scale of the pyramids, like they're massive. Human endeavor.
So?
I feel like you're doing this for the good of the podcast.
I've been to Las Vegas.
Wounded.
I've been to Las Vegas twice. They always try and tell you the Grand Canyon trip. I promise you, I've never done it.
We drove out to it.
I have no intention.
We drove out to it
because it'd be all that drive, 2.5 hours or something. You get to it here. Oh, that's pretty.
Have you ever been in some? No, it's mate. No. There is nothing like that on the earth. There is no similarity.
What, no big hole anywhere else?
Oh, well, I've seen a few big holes. Well, with mirrors usually, but I can't believe it. You wouldn't be interested in going there.
Nah.
My biggest fear, genuinely, of going there is that it's a bit unstable as a place, and I don't mean like, you know, I'm not expecting fucking Emmett to come up out of the sand like, you know, but like it's a bit unstable. Yeah, politically unstable. I don't think it's a great place. Like, you know, obviously Chloe's yours now, but if we went there, I don't think it's a great place to be a woman. Like,
right,
you know,
just go as yourself then.
So like, I wonder about that.
Rob will be up.
I can't believe you wouldn't go.
Nah, Rob will be up. So.
Right, well, we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up. We'll clear wrap it. That was Scrapper. I'm tired now, but anyway.
Here, that you underplayed it. That was pretty good.
Cleopatra. That was better.
The Light of Vespasian.
Thanks for joining us here for all things Cleopatra. Do you feel enlightened? I mean,
I feel like Cleopatra came at me, and I know a lot more about it now.
I would just say this. Last thing I have to say is, a vast array of sources, including, you know, epigraphy, like inscriptions, coins, books. This is history. Like,
this episode.
This is history. There's a couple of little bits of myth.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Mostly surrounding the snake.
Yep.
And whether it actually went for the dip, or whether it was just snake's poison that they used.
Or the type of snake.
Or the type of snake. Why do some people?
Asp would be a very painful, slow death.
Oh, right.
Some people think maybe it was a cobra, which is also the symbol of a pharaoh, isn't it? The cobra. Right, so they think maybe that. But
well, I think those are the things to discuss about whether or not it's a myth or not. But she really existed.
I really enjoyed that story. I think you presented it very well. I'm going to pat the head of the Nepalese soy boy from some great historical knowledge.
Cheers. Thank you for that.
Well done, man.
It's been a lot of fun. We'll see you in the next one.